Today I want to shed light on the state of democracy in Bangladesh. The recent video that we are about to show you unveiled the shocking reality of what goes on during elections in Bangladesh. As you can see in this video, a member of the ruling party is stamping the ballot papers for their candidate in a by-election. In just about 57 seconds, he manages to stamp 43 ballot papers. Experts have considered that his speed is impressive, but they have seen better. It's important to note that this by-election is a mere formality, as the previous member of the parliament in this seat has recently died. Even if the winner of this election were to secure the seat, he wouldn't have a chance to attend any parliament session before the national election, which is set to be held before January 29th. Despite such inconsequential stakes, the members of the ruling party could not resist stealing the mandate. The election commission and the entire bureaucracy is just a joke. They are entirely incapable of holding a fair election. It is precisely for this reason that the opposition and political activists in the country have been demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and establishment of a temporary neutral government during the national election. On October 28th, pro-democracy activists gathered for a public meeting in Dhaka. However, instead of being the biggest gathering of pro-democracy activists in the history of Bangladesh, it turned into a nightmare. The police attacked the peaceful protesters, firing sound grenades and firearms at unarmed people. This led to a violent outbreak and the arrest of more than 10,000 political activists. So how did this happen? The template is fairly straightforward. First, the police and Awami League activists attack unarmed people. Violence erupts, and the victims are then arrested with no chance of receiving justice. In fact, the New York Times and Guardian have reported on the overflowing jails in Bangladesh, all of which are holding political activists who have been denied any form of fair trial. It's a dire situation in the country right now, with almost the entire leadership of the opposition behind bars. Not only that, reports have emerged that ruling party members have opened fire on garments workers who were simply demanding a pay rise in their profession. This has resulted in the loss of at least 3 workers' lives. A female worker was shot at her face. Sheikh Hasina is marching towards yet another one-sided sham election. She is not concerned about international opinion, and the only way for her to stay in power is to rig the election. With 2 months left until the national election, the entire political leadership of the opposition has been jailed. How can there be a participatory election? The election commission is so corrupt and incompetent that they can't hold a fair by-election in one seat, just 2 months before the national election. How can there be a nationwide fair election? What the judiciary is doing? They're working day and night, literally at the night time, to swiftly convict the opposition leaders. The police, judiciary and Awami League are in cahoots. A nexus of corruption, human rights violation and criminal activities. In the past 2 weeks, 10,000 pro-democracy activists have been jailed. If we are serious about democracy in Bangladesh, if people of Bangladesh and foreign stakeholders are serious about the future of democracy in Bangladesh, this nexus between the judiciary, police and Awami League has to be broken. There is absolutely no future of democracy in Bangladesh without this nexus being broken. Look, there needs to be a tipping point at which an elite conversation would have to start. By that, what I mean is that the military and civil bureaucracy would start talking among themselves and say that this is it. It cannot go along the lines of Sheikh Hasina anymore. The sanity must prevail. Now, when will that conversation start? Or how would this nexus be broken? I don't have a crystal ball, but I have learned the history of Bangladesh well enough to make 3 educated guesses. Yes, I believe there are 3 ways left from here. Number 1 is brute violence. People or some individuals will take matters into their own hands. All repression leads to a point of no return. We like it or not, this remains a possibility. Someone pushes himself to blowing off in a government institution. When the times are desperate and hopeless, throughout history, people have taken matters into their own hands. No one wants this, God forbid. I mean, this is the worst thing that could happen to Bangladesh. But the way things are heading, it just might happen. Number 2 is the military takeover. This has happened before in Bangladesh. Although, for a military takeover to take place, India must be on board with the military. And it seems that India is firmly behind Sheikh Hasina. And they will most certainly welcome a rigged election, as they have done twice before. The risk with the military intervention is that it is unpredictable. Surely they would be hugely popular and will gain public support. Military might be interested in this because over the years, people's trust in the military and their aura of invincibility and being the honest arbitrator have eroded. I've heard from multiple sources that there is this angst among military officials. However, I honestly think that the top military officials in Bangladesh are incapable of defending anything except their lifestyles. I mean, you really have to see it to believe it. The picture of military generals Mario Vargas Llosa paints in the Feast of the Goat falls really short of lavishness when compared to Bangladeshi military generals. When you are used to that kind of luxury, all you want is how to prolong your retirement benefits. Your very existence becomes a bribe for doing nothing. The biggest risk in this route is that democracy through military involvement is an iffy project. It might happen, and to be fair, it has happened before in Bangladesh, but the effectiveness is not guaranteed. However, if it did happen, the nexus between the judiciary, police and Awami League would most surely be broken. There would be breathing space, and the sensible voices within the government organization could then take hold. The atmosphere of fear and tyranny would gradually diminish. The third scenario is the West imposes blanket sanctions on police and judiciary officials, as well as targeted sanctions on oligarchs supporting the one-party dictatorship. This will create deep anxiety among government officials. The elite conversation I mentioned earlier would most certainly be prompted in an event like this. Look, Bangladesh is a very West-oriented country. Sheikh Hasina's stooges will not be able to withstand that level of pressure. The police and judiciary would stop oppressing people of Bangladesh only if there is a genuine threat from the West. I meant action, not the talk. You see, the incentive for police and judges to uphold the rule of law is extremely low. And because of this, the government is functioning like a criminal enterprise. Good people within the government do not have any say, and they cannot go against the will of Sheikh Hasina. This woman has destroyed every institution in this country and is obsessed with her father and family. For every question, be it economic or enforced disappearance, she has only one answer: they killed my father, blah, blah, blah. The blabbering goes on. Her age, gender and religion serve her well to play this victim card, especially to the Westerners who don't understand her viciousness. She is not what you think she is. If Sheikh Hasina stays in power, the country will plunge into deep economic crisis within 6 to 8 months. The political economy of Bangladesh is such that an aversion of economic crisis is impossible. There needs to be a regime change. Why? The economy of country is running on borrowed time and is a ticking bomb. The governor of the central bank recently said that he hasn't seen an economic crisis of this magnitude in his lifetime. The reality is, Sheikh Hasina simply cannot manage the economic crisis. It is impossible. Her political life and blood is supplied by her cronies. These are individuals who are made obscenely rich. I mean, billionaires by Sheikh Hasina. Now, in order to rig the election, she needs money, cash. You have to bribe a lot of people. Now, who are going to supply this money? The billionaires who control the market and fix prices, creating double-digit inflation. It is impossible to manage an economic crisis without breaking these oligarch syndicates. It is impossible for her to fix the terminally sick banking sector. Do you think she would be able to control her cronies who financed her dictatorship in the first place? She's only going to exacerbate this crisis. There would be more blood, more violence in the process leading to election. People would resist her sham elections and police would be used to kill people. It is as simple as that. All foreign stakeholders, including China, India and Japan, want stability in Bangladesh. Sheikh Hasina is not the one who can deliver political stability that everyone is looking forward to. To stay in power, she has taken the entire nation towards an economic crisis. In no time, this economic crisis would manifest as political violence, and this is why she must go.